Remember earlier we talked about this idea of being a son who receives, not a slave who's striving to earn or achieve. You have to set the pace for this when you show up. You have to be able to say, I want to know what it is that would really be enjoyable to you and your family. What's something that we could go do together that would really thrill you that you wouldn't normally get to do? Now, obviously, we're not talking about let's all go to Disney World, but we are talking about things like maybe a zoo trip. I say that on purpose because one particular family we went to go care for had never been to a zoo. Their kids had never experienced that. They'd been serving for years on the field, and their children had never experienced that. And when they put their heads together and talk together as a family, it's kind of sheepishly, no pun intended, could we possibly go to a zoo together? There's a really great one in downtown. Absolutely. That's amazing. Let's go do that together. Now, when you go do something like that, and you have to remember, you're the conduit, you're the pipe. This is about them getting that experience. The temptation for some, especially if you battle some areas of insecurity, is to want to be a part of this new experience together with them. Learn to shrink back into the shadows. Learn that you have basically been the conduit to get them into that experience, and then they're having their first time doing this. Let them have it. So this particular family, they were at the zoo for the first time, and they were in a spot where they got to feed animals, and they were having the time of their lives. We fed hippos, folks. It was so fun. But you have to step away, and now you're the picture taker for the family having these memories, and you get to give that to them. Here's what you went and experienced. And guess what? You're not in any of the photos, and that's a good thing, not a bad thing. You can do a selfie later if you want to, but make this about them, God and others, God and others. So getting them together, being the one who comes up with the next thing that we might get to go do, see if it clicks, see if it sticks with them. All right, do you guys want to feed hippos? What? We get to feed hippos? That's all right, let's go do it. That's a yes, and we go and we do that. This comes back to that thriving, not just surviving thing. Again, I don't want to speak a whole lot about the philosophy of how much we raise and people are starving in a certain country. Guys, we're talking 3 days of somebody's life here. We're not talking about changing a whole lifestyle into some form of a prosperity doctrine, mindset, etc. We're talking about just coming alongside and doing a couple of things for 3 days that they haven't gotten to do so that they feel seen, heard, loved, understood, cared about. So don't freak out about that. Bless them. Bless them. You'll also find in most contexts, the kinds of activities you get to do don't cost near as much as they do in other places around the world. We're not talking about exorbitancy here. We're talking about blessing. So take a step back, be the guy or gal with the camera, help them to capture some of those memories. I mean, how often, I remember this one particular family, they have 6 kids. How often do they all get to be in the photo together? Somebody usually has to hold the camera. You get to be that person for them, help them in that way. One of my rules when I go with a family to do this is to eat what they eat, to find the ways in which I can connect with them through understanding based on the types of foods that they really enjoy. So whether it's the restaurant that we're at or just what they do in their home life, you have to set self aside. Now, this also means if you're going to bless them and they're going to do things that they don't normally get to do, and you're trying to help them to really receive all God has for them during this time, not just the spiritual, but the emotional and the physical and the mental and the social as well. And Jesus grew in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and man. God cares about all those things enough to write them into his word. He cares about this missionary family in those ways. So we're going to care for them in all those ways, the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, the social aspects of care are so important. It's a holistic approach. And if you say, or they say, we'd love to get ice cream, but you don't eat the ice cream, what does that say? If you don't participate with them in what's happening, guess what? You create the environment where maybe we shouldn't receive. Now it's awkward to receive because the person who has said that we should do this isn't willing to do it with us. So you have to set self aside also in the sense that you may eat a little more than you're normally used to. and you may have to indulge in a few things in a way that's not normal for your diet. Well, diet before you go and diet when you get home. But make sure they can enjoy this without guilt or shame or shade because you're enjoying it with them and leading the way. It's almost like a game that can be played. And how can you make sure they're going to have every opportunity to receive all that the Father has for them on these 3 days? It becomes a lot of fun.